Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rash's World. Today we have a special guest. We have Dr. Lisa Nezneski. How are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine. So as soon as I saw the name of your podcast, I thought of Wayne's World. So Rash's
That's
World,
close.
Rash's World, party time, excellent.
Sure, sure. Yes. I'd also like you. The first question is the toughest one. I'd like you to briefly introduce yourself to our audience here, and a sense of humor is really important there too. That's awesome, right? So, what else would you say about yourself?
So I began in the healing arts almost 47 years ago.
Hmm.
So when I went to pharmacy school, so I'm a pharmacist,
Hmm.
uh, still licensed, still practicing. And from there, I had a small health food and vitamin store in the middle of my career. And part of it was that Dr. Weil had just written a book about herbal medicine, and people were flocking to vitamin worlds or, places that sold vitamins. I'm not going to
Hmm.
name a particular brand, but because that really doesn't matter. And when they were trying out these herbal substances, I thought these people are on medications too. Who better than to advise about medications and natural supplements is a pharmacist who had pharmacognosy, which is the study of plant-based medicine.
Hmm.
So that's how I got started with the health food store and the vitamins. And from there, I went back into the hospital and I've had a long consulting career since then. But interestingly enough, there's a lot of parallels when doing a consulting project as with working with someone one on one. So, around about 2015, I became really ill. I have celiac disease and I had a couple of flare ups in a row. So, I'm very diligent about my diet. I'm very diligent about not just my diet, but what I eat and what time I eat. And so that wasn't cutting it. So I knew I needed more. And that's when I branched out and had several Reiki treatments. I became a Reiki practitioner, but mostly to heal myself. And I don't really do Reiki on clients per se, but it was extremely helpful when I was going through a divorce. And that's a little bit of about how I wrote Grounded in Chaos. I just started writing my emotions on paper. So by writing, getting it out of my head, out of my body, onto paper, that was one way that journaling was fantastic for me then. So I was doing journaling, I was meditating. I'm a mindfulness meditation teacher, so I was doing mindfulness. I was having Reiki treatments done on myself. And then I realized that when I attended some of the shamanic healing sessions that were basically group sessions, I was really intrigued. And the opportunity came to actually become a shaman. And that's what I did. And I'm finding that being a shaman is really the most extensive healing that people I typically do it in 4 sessions. And a lot of times people will tell me that each one they come out changed. Like there's a massive amount of energy that's released. We bring in white light from heaven to backfill all of that energy. And there's a peacefulness about it. It's not me doing it. I'm the hollow bone. I'm the channel for the higher energies. You may call it God, you may call it whatever you want. But to me, it's God is coming through me and helping these people to heal. I'm just the vessel for that to happen. And so the first 2 sessions, we call them illuminations. Those are light-filled sessions where we're moving dark energy, stuck energy, whatever you want to call it. And then we're replacing it with light from heaven. And from the next the body's ready to show me more things. And I look for things like swords or knives or a spear. One time I pulled a spear out, but
Oh,
it's an energetic spear. You can
mhm.
actually feel it, feel how it vibrates. And so through the next step, which is called extraction, we'll pull other types of stuck energy. And a lot of times it's related to how they died in a past life, if you believe in that. Um, but yes, there's a lot of energy. Energy healing is just fascinating to me.
Yeah.
So the fourth session is soul retrieval, and that's the most transformative. So that's a little bit about me. I've gone
Yeah.
through these various steps as I wrote Grounded in Chaos, and
Mhm.
it tells a lot about my own healing journey.
I love how you have this holistic toolbox that is there with various bits and pieces. But your book is, again, just to remind everyone, or just to tell everyone, grounded in chaos, leaning into
Yes.
adversity, learning joy. And I love the title too. I mean, it's groundedness and chaos; those seem like opposites. And your ideas are quite fascinating there too. So how could we be grounded in chaos? Is not chaos something that we should avoid? And the leaning into, I think, is very interesting too. I agree with that.
There are times in one's life that things happen that are somewhat out of our own control.
Mhm.
So it could be a health crisis, it could be a financial crisis, it could be something going on at work. So many things, something with a loved one that's happening that's out of your control, but yet the amount of stress that mounts from that affects your body physically. And so if you store that energy in your body rather than facing it,
Mhm.
you're going to eventually develop a disease. And
Yes.
when I talked about that time in 2015 when I had a flare up, that was me not paying attention to my body.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I ended up in the emergency room with a heart rate that went all the way down to 28. And I really did think I was dying at that point.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that was my line in the sand that I knew that my life, sorry about that, I'm sitting outside. My life was going to be different from that point on. And honestly, everything is about right now is different. Where I live is different. I live in Florida. I was living in Pittsburgh. My name, I went back to my maiden name. Who I work for is twice over changed. I mean, yeah, and of course the divorce was through that, and I have a new husband. So
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
thank you.
I love reinventing ourselves, and something
Yes,
these moments I see as wake-up calls. And I kind of think of it sometimes because it's forced. We get into that comfort zone. We're like on autopilot. We're like zombies just going through our days. And then suddenly something shakes us. And I see it like the tower card in tarot, where it's like hits the building and structure, and the first moment you just like it's like the worst thing you can imagine, and it is pretty terrible. But then once you come out of that rubble and so on, you create a new self. And for me, the
yes,
moment was, as you're saying, for me, the moment was once I was in the subway, and I suddenly had this feeling like, oh, I don't want to go into that dark space. I just had this feeling. It's like, no, I don't want to go there. And then that day I decided, no, I do want to go there because I need to face those things. And everything kind of clicked into place after that, of like having that courage to go there instead of just like trying to numb it or looking the other way or ignoring it.
yeah, for me, there was no choice. I had to face it head on. And it really was like I was in the middle of a tornado because if
Mm,
you've ever seen like some of those movies with things flying around like
mm,
trucks
mm.
and
Yeah,
cows and
yeah,
things,
yeah.
you could lose your life that way. So yeah, it just felt like I was in the middle of this, and I used my grounding techniques to bring peace and presence in the moment so that I could actually think straight.
Mhm, mhm.
Because there are
Absolutely.
times when all of that's going on simultaneously and you're just going from thing to thing to thing, survival mode, if you will,
Yeah.
when by grounding yourself, you take a step back, you allow that parasympathetic nervous system to
Mhm.
kick in, and you just feel more calm. I
Yeah.
do a lot of these grounding exercises in my YouTube channel. It's just my name, Lisa Nezneski, and there's probably 35 or 40 videos now on all kinds of different meditations. Primarily, everyone typically starts with a grounding exercise. So it's so essential to get out of your head and into your body and be connected to the vehicle that we're flying through space on. You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm. Yes.
we
Yeah.
think we're
Yeah.
separate from everything, but we're not. We're connected to everything. And that's one of the main messages I have to take away from Grounded in Chaos is that you are never alone.
Yeah.
You might think that you're alone going through that. And honestly, yes, you can't, no one else can go through whatever that trouble and uh,
Mm.
all of the issues that are going on. The tornado is the word
Mhm. Mhm.
that's going on around you. You have to go through it. No one can do that for you.
Yeah.
But having this groundedness and knowing that you're connected, other people have gone through this
Mhm.
and they've
Yes.
come
Yeah.
out on the other side. That's the message of Grounded in Chaos. You're never alone,
Yeah.
and you can go through what you think at the time is the worst thing in your life that's ever happened.
And sometimes it's a shift of perspective. And I love how you're using metaphors of the tornado or like earthquake. And an earthquake is earth shattering, but it can also be groundbreaking. And so when you look at that
Right.
from another perspective, also kind of the bigger picture, which doesn't immediately come, but sometimes in hindsight, you see that how that was really important for your own growth and perhaps even transformation.
Absolutely. Like I said, everything about me is different right now.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. And after I went through the primary stress of the divorce, which lasted way longer than it should have and was more complicated than it needed to be,
Yeah.
I came out of that experience more in tune with my physical body,
Hmm.
and I started paying attention when things started to kind of go wrongish, like you have a toothache, well, go get it taken care of. Don't power through. I was
Hmm.
just so grooved into powering through.
Hmm.
It was a situation if mama didn't work, nobody ate kind of thing.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it was essential for me to do that at that time. So I thought, but I think the younger generation has much more clarity on not wanting to put themselves through all of that, and they're taking much more better care of their body. So, once that was over from 18 till about 22, various things started to go wrong. I finally have my blood pressure under control, which had been a problem since I was 37. So 30 years of working on it. Um, so it's like a stepwise process. It didn't happen overnight. But what was fascinating is I had celiac disease, a new gastroenterologist. We went through the CT scan and he said, "Who's managing that adrenal tumor?" And I said, "What adrenal tumor? Where
Oh
did
God.
that come from?" So apparently my poor little left adrenal gland was pushed so hard to the point of extinction. And so luckily it was a benign tumor, but I honestly think it had something to do with my blood pressure being sky high.
Hmm.
So, but now my energy levels fluctuate like crazy because I only have that one adrenal gland and I'm very sensitive to stress. So I'm backing off of things that I know are causing me stress,
Hmm.
resting more. Meditation's part of my daily lifestyle. Uh, Morning and evening, I meditate twice a day. I hold a meditation class for free on Thursday nights. Eventually, I'll get to the point. I need another week to prep this because I had some family issues last week, but I'm going to be doing a live meditation on the platforms. I'm going to
Hmm.
start off on LinkedIn and then go to others. But yeah, that will probably be happening in the next 2 weeks. Just a live meditation, short, 5 minutes. designed for working professionals, that they can set the intention and the mood for the day.
Now, when you're going through difficult moments, how do you keep joy or even hope alive? Like, what would be a tip there? Because often when you don't see things, you have a tunnel vision when things are not going are going badly, right? You just can't see much. So how can we bring in that an element of hope and joy in that when you're suffering?
My wiener dog is very intuitive.
Yeah.
And, when I would have a boohoo session, she'd come over and lick my face and like make sure I was okay. And so she reads my moods just as well as I do. And she is the most hilarious dog. She'll just do something funny that you just have to laugh. So I started watching really positive shows, comedies on
Mhm,
television to bring my mood up. I
mhm,
couldn't watch I call it murder porn, but those things
mhm.
that,
Okay.
that somebody's dead and they're investigating. I really cannot bring myself to even watch those to this day. So I surround myself with happy things, happy books. I have three grandchildren, two of which I'm extremely close with. And they're the light of my life. I just spent a weekend with them, and they are smart,
Mhm,
funny, and it immediately gets you out of yourself. And I thinking, what do I, as a woman, want to pass on to these two little girls, uh, so that they think that, grandma was a badass. So
mhm. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, and also with animals, they're like pets are just amazing too because
they are.
my cat would lay off the attacks when things I was not doing so well. So they have that perception and then would go back to
Absolutely.
doing the same thing once you're fine, right? But it's amazing how they do.
I actually became the neighborhood cat lady. That here in Florida, cats just love to live outside. So I started feeding one. She ended up being pregnant and
Mhm,
had kittens. But
mhm,
anyway, she's my cat now. The kittens are all with other good homes.
mhm,
And then there was another cat who was a male cat, and he had a chip. Somebody owned him and they let him go. So he's El Jefe. But they showed
mhm.
up, these cats showed up when I was in some pretty, a dark funk, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
So they came to me when I needed them. And apparently cats have the ability to absorb some dark energy,
Mm, mm.
and process it. They know what to do with it. They mulch it, if you
Oh
will.
wow. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
so now I have two cats,
Mhm,
and my husband had a dog, so I've got two cats and two dogs. Oh, and
mhm,
of course, get yourself out on the dating scene if you're alone. Don't
mhm.
live in your head.
Yeah, yeah,
It's mostly just for fun. Go to the movies.
yeah,
Do something for yourself.
yeah.
Even if it's to go to the bookstore and browse and pick something off the shelf or at the library, and do something kind for yourself.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And there are the unexpected moments that yeah, I think you talk about in your book about the group of shirtless Marines. Can we go into
Oh,
that?
yes.
I just love that. I mean, that's a great sense of humor there. What was that about?
Okay, so I split from the ex and I rented a beach house.
Mhm,
That is right next to the back entrance to Camp Lejeune in North Carolina.
mhm,
So all the tenants, the full timers like myself, there were at least three or four homes in my little project area. Out of eight duplexes, four of them were Marines. So
mhm.
they were constantly around. But for some reason, they love to run up and down on the beach. And I was like, okay, I like this. If you have to be alone, going through something, if you move out to, it's called North Topsail Beach in North Carolina, you have all these Marines there. And you feel like this is the safest place in the world. I've got all these Marines who are willing to you know protect an old
Yeah.
lady like me. So
Yeah.
I was cool with that. But now I married a Marine, so I get to have
Oh,
my
you
own
did?
story.
Oh,
Marine.
one of the
So,
joggers? No.
he does. He was a drill sergeant, so he
Oh,
takes
wonderful.
the dogs on their daily parades. So
Yeah. Yeah. So what are some lessons that we can learn from loss? What are some of the takeaways here that you can give us and share with us here?
first of all, if you persist in a situation, I came from a Catholic background,
Mhm,
and I married for life.
mhm,
My parents were married for life. They probably should have divorced.
mhm,
Um, at that point, my sisters, we were all married for life, if you will. The younger one divorced first, and then I divorced. Um, you got to get out of that dogma that keeps
mhm,
you trapped in a
mhm,
situation that is, number one, not healthy for you.
mhm.
Number two, not in your best emotional environment. You cannot push through when you have a partner that is not meeting you halfway.
Yes.
I mean, everyone should be giving 100%. Would have been happy with 50.
Mhm,
And so from that, it was, I was always being blindsided too.
mhm,
So the lesson that I learned was that get out of your own head. That's somebody else's dogma. You have to take care of this God-given body.
mhm,
And that may mean you need to divorce. So I did.
mhm,
And whatever it is, the situation that someone would be in that's not good for them, you've got to get yourself out of it. It could be addiction, could be alcoholism, could be a bad marriage, it could be uh, a bad job. Life's too short to have a bad job.
mhm. Yeah.
So it's not the worst thing in the world. You can downsize, you can, change your standard of life to
Mhm,
something different that may be more simpler and more meaningful. Get what you can out of this life.
mhm, mhm.
You're not meant to, Buddha say suffering is life. And I get it, but joy is life as well.
Yes, yes. I like Buddhism, but I think they got it wrong there. I wanna enjoy my life. I think, it's the focus on suffering is not helping. And for me, like actually a important moment was when I realized how things were going badly, when you have a different perspective. So I did suffer from high blood pressure as well and sleep apnea and I was
Oh, yeah.
diabetic and all those things. Like it's just a combo of like bad stuff. Obese. I was obese at the time. And then one moment I said, no more. I don't want this. And I want to find a way out of it. And then once you really have that willpower, there's a way or there are ways that show up. One of them was intermittent fasting, where it helped me control my hunger and
Yes,
lose weight. And then other spiritual things appeared in front of me. So it's really like changing your perspective, seeing it from a different view, and then just taking that path, plunging into it, and taking
exactly.
that leap of faith as well, as somebody like Kierkegaard would say.
I agree with that
Yeah.
wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
And attempting to balance what's important to you in your life, like your relationships, your work life, your home life, financial life, and spiritual life. All of those, if you're only focused on work life, all
Yes.
the rest of
Yeah.
those are out of balance. So it's like a flat tire.
Yeah.
You're lumping along on the side
Yeah.
of the road.
Sometimes
And
you
then
need to divorce your job, and that's
absolutely,
it, and a person, and it's like because we often don't realize it when we're in that state. So it's like taking a different perspective, being open to that, right? I think that's really, but being flexible as well with these things.
exactly. So, Grounded in Chaos was published a while back, but I am doing a second edition. It's in the final galley phase. And the last part, there are 4 sections to the book.
Mhm.
Talk about the chaos, then is the healing section where I call it Augenblick, which is a German word that means in the blink of an eye, things
Yeah.
change. Then the last part was wait, wait. The last part was Augenblick. The middle part was Triste, which is the Spanish word for sadness. So it was chaos, then it was sadness, and then things started to happen. And that's where the book ended. I picked up where I left off, and I wrote a whole new chapter called Floridays, how my life has changed in the last 5 years since I've been in Florida, and how much better I feel in sunshine. And the style of the book is written in narrative verse. So it's poetry,
Mhm.
I'm
Cool.
telling a story through
Yeah.
it. And I'm going to try to get this one out like I did the original one on May the 4th, because, May the 4th be with you.
Be with you. Yeah. That's awesome.
So I think I can get it to the publisher this week. And this weekend is May the 4th, or Monday or Tuesday. But yeah, have it out there. So I
Yeah,
appreciate you having me on
oh,
now.
for
It's a
sure.
good timing.
Your Augenblick makes me think of Carlos Castaneda's A Cubic Centimeter of Chance, where there's like this moment, if you're mindful of it, it can change and transform your life completely. It's like a different dimension. It's like you're entering a different zone.
Exactly.
And I think they're there. We just have to be mindful, and that's on us to be mindful.
Yes, because we're getting signs.
Yes, all the
If you
time.
say send, yes, all the time.
Yeah,
And if you're not paying attention, they get kind of ticked off, like, well, I'm sending her signs and she's just not paying attention.
yeah, yeah.
So, okay, that's my husband telling me it's time.
Yeah. So it
So
is time. Thank you so much, Lisa Nezneski, to be on Arash's World today. Your book is again Grounded in Chaos, Leaning into Adversity, Learning Joy, and the second edition. We're looking forward to that. And thank you
thank
so much
you.
for being here.
Thank you so much. I hope your world grows and includes everyone that needs to hear the messages that you send out. I am very grateful for having this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much.